enjoyed this week's episode, and please like this video, share with your friends and dock mates, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us get more viewers like you.
Hey y'all, guess what? It's amazing in here. We're all set up for a Dexter style kill. If anybody's seen Dexter, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, he does a pretty good job of taping off and plastic sizing his kill zones. If you haven't seen Dexter, recommend watching it. But we are in the Dexter kill zone because we're not killing anybody except for killing it on these boat projects. Check this out. Look what we did. Ta-da! Fresh bilge paint to match what we did over here. Also got that area done. That was a couple weeks ago, but what we did just this yesterday was this area. And then under it, the galley cabinet here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Oh man, you can actually like reach your hand in there and not get cut by brown wood. Anyway, so this looks amazing. I am so thrilled. So the old fuel tanks used to be here. So there was a fuel tank here that went to the outside of the hole. Same thing here, the outside of the hole. But now it's going to be like perfect storage. And then in the future, fingers crossed, bunch of batteries in there, like chock full of batteries. Just like throw all of the AAAs and the AA's and the C's and the 9 volts in there, just all of them. So that way we can power our boat. Or maybe like some lithium, 100 amp hour house type batteries. One of those two options, I think. So this is looking really good. I'm going to pull down the murder scene because the murder is done and get to work on something else. But I just wanted to show you that. It's amazing. It looks beautiful. I am thrilled. And third time's the charm. This was the third time we actually used this bilge paint, and we did it. We did it good. So I'll probably write up a little blog post on some of our tips and tricks and what went well for us, because it is a little bit tricky, but the result looks amazing. It just looks so cool in here, having all this white. So, all right, I'm taking down the kill zone, and we'll move on to the next project. Let's keep going. Hey y'all, now we are going to switch back to a project related to water tanks. Wah, wah, wah. So where I'm standing and where this is, there's two big water tanks under here. One big one under here, one big one under here. And then originally the boat had a single one that kind of went like maybe here to here. Or no, it's probably like here to here. And then we had this space back here was basically unused and dead empty space. Well, I mean, they did have a hot water fan, like hot air. What is that? What is hot air called? Heat? They did have heating ducts running through here and then kind of like out this way. So I mean, that wasn't super wasted space, but for us, I think we'd rather have more tankage. And so what I'm doing is kind of getting this ready, because we have 2 new tanks to put right here. And because of the way the curvature of the hole is and how the settee is and the way that these tanks, their sizing is kind of preset, I couldn't just get one long tank to put in here. I had to get 2 little smaller tanks. So one's gonna be like right here, and then one's gonna be like right here. And then I'll hook them up to the fills and the vents and hook them up together, and bada bing, bada boom. But one of the things we have to do before we do that is, see that wood piece right there? And then there's a wood piece right there. There's a shelf that sits right in here. And I've got that right here. So that shelf got it pulled out. And now I need to give it some love. So I could rebuild it with fresh, brand new marine grade ply. Man. But let me show you what my past self, I'm thanking my past self. My current self is thanking my past self. And here's a little tip. When you're taking your boat apart, leave notes for yourself because you forget stuff. Like this, I took this out, we had this out like over a year ago, probably, or maybe just about a year ago. So there's no way I can remember everything about it. So take some notes and write it down. So this is the note that I left myself. So we have, this is the front of the boat. This is the aft of the boat. So when we're, you know, positioning it, we know which way it goes. It's the starboard, it's a shelf, and it's outboard. So this is the starboard side of the boat, outboard, like all the way outside towards the hull. And then I say repair with epoxy, cut in half with finger holes. So when we were taking the boat apart, I wanted to pull this shelf out so I could see what was underneath it. Because it's one long piece, I couldn't pull it out with the rest of the settee and the couch and everything that's built in here. You just couldn't get it out. So why would we have a shelf that we couldn't get out to see what's underneath the shelf? It just doesn't make any sense. So clearly we want to be able to pull this out. So I said cut it in half. So maybe like right there. And then finger holes, so you can kind of like just put a finger in it and then, you know, lift it out like a shelf that you want to lift out. You put your finger in a hole and you lift it out. So that's the plan. So thank you, past self. Past self might have been a little too ambitious though, because it says repair. And this thing has seen, gotta say, some better days. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I need to think on that. Maybe I just replace it with a new piece of plywood. But then I gotta cut the shape of the hole and the length, and because it's not a square, it's not a rectangle. Because it fits alongside of the hole, you can kind of see how it bows out. So is it easier to just cut a bow, trace it, and I could probably just trace it. What am I talking about? Just trace it on a new piece of plywood. Let me think on that and get back to you. Hi, y'all. All right, so I talked to the captain, the admiral, the head helmer. No, I'm the head helmer. What is she? Happy Cappy? Happy Captain? I forget her nickname though. Anyways, Devin. I talked to Devin, my wife, and she's like, nope, just replace it. So I went and grabbed, we had an extra, this is the last of the 2 sheets of plywood that we bought when we gonna do the water tanks. So this is a half a sheet of marine grade plywood, 3/4 inch, and yeah, so instead of trying to fix this mess, we're just gonna cut a new one. See that difference there? New, old. While I could fix it, it's probably just gonna be easier to just trace out where I want a new piece and then cut this out. Now the only tricky part that I think will be okay, because we got plenty of room in there, is the old one's a 1/2 inch, the new one's gonna be 3/4 inch. So it's gonna be a little bit bigger, but I think it'll be okay. Just a little bit taller, that's gonna be fine. So, anywho, I'm gonna get started on, cutting this out, and it's gonna be amazing to have a new piece. I don't have to mess with fixing this old piece. All right, trace and cut. That's all we really got to do. Let's do it.